Welcome, everyone. Kwaai public meeting number 10. We'll get started with Reza and Afshin sharing some updates for the week, and a welcome to you all. Today, we'll do things a little bit differently. We'll start with the advisor roundtable. There's going to be a lot of discussion over our upcoming event. Also, a lot of questions around funding and operational expenses as we start doing the actual development work. Speaking of that, Collin is going to share with us about some of that development work. Kwai's initial GitHub commits are made, and Collin's going to introduce some of what he's working on there and help get you all involved. And then we want to, of course, hear from you. So please speak up if you're new. We have some new faces on the call today. And certainly if you'd like to chat or share something about the content of this meeting, your thoughts, your feedback, we'd love to hear from as many members as we can. We'll take that and pass it over to Reza.
Fantastic. Welcome, everybody. Meeting number 10. Great to see you all. So happy Friday. I've got a very light update for the week. It's most of the work has been around trying to prepare for the Kwaai Summit, and we will do that. So as you all know, October 14, we're going to have a summit. Let me talk about what the goals of the summit is. It's not a conference. This is not a huge thing. Even though we're opening it up for the public, it's co-sponsored by the local college here, College of the Canyons in Los Angeles. It is a forum for us to have this meeting face-to-face. So I'd love to see as many of you down in LA as possible. And if you can't attend, you'll have the recordings. But there'll be good coverage. We're going to have good videography of everyone and all the presentations, and that'll be good material for repurposing for later on. I think it's going to be important for us to have a face-to-face working session. So it'll be in two parts. There'll be the private working session for the advisory group, and that will be a 2-hour session, and then will be followed by 4 hours of lectures, of typical sort of conference material coming in 3 groups. There will be 3 tracks, but they'll run consecutively. There'll be the tools track, the AI fundamentals, and the AI policy track. Each one kicks off with a keynote, then there'll be a technical paper presentation, then there'll be a panel. I think there's more than enough opportunity for all of us to participate, but we'd like to get some additional external participation in there. I'm going to pause there. I think I'm kind of getting into the very next topic. So, Matt, why don't we?
Yep, sure. Thank you, Reza. Yeah, great thoughts there. College of the Canyons is a co-sponsor, so they will be included in all of the material that we put out about this. Ruth, I saw you join. Did you want to say anything about that, just about College of the Canyons and their sponsorship?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. College of the Canyons is where I work. It's one of California's community colleges. Reza and I have had meetings with the VP of Instruction and the VP of Tech. So they're very interested in working not only in a co-sponsor capacity, but as maybe advisors as well. They helped us with the agenda that Matt put together, and we have facilities in the University Center. We have a large lecture hall, which seats about 80 people. It's a stadium auditorium seating. We also have what I like to call a banquet hall. It holds more people. It's like 200 or so people, depending on how you configure the tables and chairs and what have you. They will help us with publicity through their public information office. And also what I'm interested in is getting some collaboration from faculty and students. We're thinking about faculty in the philosophy department, the political science department, the English department. Who else? We have a math, engineering, science achievement program. Those students, unfortunately, they're at another conference that weekend, but we're trying to get as much student participation as possible. We have an intercultural center, and I think there's a space for the intercultural center, particularly what Ray was talking about with keeping the sovereignty in the communities of underrepresented communities in tech. Who else we got? We have a new cafe owner. So I will be speaking to him about, we've got people there for a long time, so we need to feed them and water them and stuff like that, practical stuff. What else do we talk about? Well, we also spoke about another Rassool, or another couple of Rassools joining us for the streaming video part, but that's not my department, so I will leave that to somebody else.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Ruth. Appreciate that. With some other updates this week as well, then we can kind of pop back and I can I'll share some more about the agenda that we have put together thus far. Need some help with filling this up. So there's going to be a bit of a call to action for everybody to get into the channel, of course, after this and share what they'd like to come and participate with. But before I do that, Michael Nathan has been hard iteratively at work this week, thinking about Kwaai branding and kind of building that for Kwaai. So Michael, I wanted to give you a quick opportunity to present your work here.
It's a collaborative effort, guys. Matthew's wife has an expert eye to do some refinements. All we're doing is really putting thoughts and leveraging Reza's start of the tree, and not to repurpose it, but to augment and build from there, right? And some of the concepts were, how do we think about identity? How do we think about branding? And what is the importance of it? Does it convey the sentiment of who we are? And more importantly, why do we do what we do? Why does it matter? And why should it care, right? So the thought process behind a lot of Kwaai AI. And to Reza's point this morning, Knowledge Workers Alliance in AI, changing the way we think about it, and it really changes and affects the way we talk about it. So that was some of the concept behind it. And then if you see some of the visuals, Matt, maybe if you want to share whenever you and Afshin believe are the ones. Like, this design really takes advantage of the tree that Reza gave us. And it's the growth, right? It's an everlasting, and it outlives us. There's trees that are hundreds of years old. And the beauty of this is that it starts below us and it's going to exceed the top of us, right? And there's a sunrise or a sunset, however you want to look at the top of the eye. But until we define what aspect of AI we are embracing and embarking on, there's so many variations that from, Min's or Kai Min's aspect of AI to Afshin's and NASA and space tech to all of us, generative AI. There's so many different aspects of it that the name and the brand and the presence of it should evoke just the thought, right? And if you look at this AI, it's going in multiple directions. And I think that's the state of AI today. So I'll pause and I'll stop there.
Michael, and I wonder if Matt, you can actually show the latest iteration, which Michael just put in the advisors channel. If you can just display that graphic, I think that is an evolution just beyond what you've got here, and it's really lovely. I like the latest version. So have a look in the advisors channel on Slack, and you can see Michael just did a quick revision of this one. And I know I've put you on the spot there.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so check this out. So you're not repeating the AI twice. You're using the AI, the last two letters of Kwaai. So it becomes Kwaai Labs, which I think rolls off the tongue a lot better. And that whole Knowledge Workers Alliance, which Kwaai suggested, that the KWA stands for, now pops. And I think that is, I like the way this is evolving. I like the way that I did not prescribe this. This is like generative AI. I gave a tiny prompt and I got back a whole round.
Collective intelligence has.
Okay. Very good.
Now, in no way is the final. This is just conceptual, right? This is all up for discussion. Right?
Fantastic. And the color scheme, and we should let some of the graphic experts, opine on the color scheme and stuff like that. I know I'm not a graphic designer, but when I see something that speaks to me, then I love it. Okay.
Well, we thought about you, Reza, coming from South Africa, and it kind of has the zebra, the trees, the.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Awesome. All right, back to the business here. Now we can put this on our flyer material for the conference. Wanted to share here quickly just a bit more about that. As Reza had introduced, each conference track, we're going to divide this along tools, fundamentals, and policy. It'll each include a 10, 12-minute talk. We're going to try and include some time, as we like to do here, with Q&A for each of the keynotes in each of those sections there. And then what we will want to do is a paper presentation. A keynote's really kind of more strategic vision approach. The paper presentation more of a technical piece, about committed code, about some deep research. So we'll look at also providing a 10-minute slot, 10 minutes to go deep on a technical topic. Good luck. And you will have some opportunities for some questions there too. We'll then save 20 minutes at the end of each section just for some moderated panel, and we want to include folks in the room. So, come out, make sure that, come to visit, make sure that you're there. But then we'll also have some faculty from the College of the Canyons present. This is a great opportunity for us to get students in the room, to lend their voice to the conversation. And so really true to the spirit, as Reza said, kind of this meeting, inviting a lot of that participation. We're still kind of trying to figure out what's the message. As Michael pointed out, there's a lot of different directions that this has grown and that this can grow. So is this future of work? Is this personal AI? What's coalescing around this? So some good topics for discussion today. And Ruth had some great details here. We have the USEN building, room 107. So this will start getting shared out and around, so we can begin to drive some attendance.
Yeah.
We will be putting on the attendance side, we will be putting out a Google form, try to get some RSVPs. Please do RSVP if you're coming. We definitely want to get some counts and some ideas of who's going to be there, so we can make this a really great event, both for those that are present as well as those attending virtually.
Matt, it'd be great if we could have, even on this call, a show of hands of who's likely to attend. And
Kai's already got his hand up there. I love it. He's there.
Kai's always got his hand up. We don't know why, but great. Okay, so Eunice is going to attend. So that's a good count. How do we? Okay, wow. Okay. So what I also suggest is, by the end of the day, if we have a graphic, if we have a poster, to put it out on LinkedIn. I'm prepared. I think we should invest some budget to boost it, and so let's have a talk about that, and maybe boost it specifically in the Los Angeles area, and see if we can get some good participation.
Awesome. Okay. Kai, before we move on, did you want to say something here?
Yeah, very quickly. First of all, Michael, it's great. I really like the thing. And since you were mentioning, Reza, when on the last iteration of it, it put the Kwaai, the first part more of views. So maybe you can write underneath, as you did on the right side, democratize. You can write what the Kwaai means.
Yeah.
So it's kind of symmetric, and at the same time helping people to understand why we have the KWA.
Yeah, stand by.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should do it. Just
Kai's prompt engineering right now.
Yeah. So for those of you who need the details of what's going on, there's a channel on it on Slack. So go and look up the channel. You'll see the details when the event's going to be. Yes, it involves, for many of you not in Los Angeles, it's going to involve a flight down, but the college is 25 minutes north of Burbank Airport, so it's an inexpensive flight, and we've got a college rate discount at the local Hyatt hotel. Nice hotel, $172 a night, so not a big spend. And it's over the weekend, so you don't have to just take PTO or anything like that. So I think come on down, and then there'll be an after party for anyone who wants to come and visit the Rassool residence.
Awesome. Thank you, Reza. And as you can see, it's rather empty right now. Kai has a talk in. Seems like a great fit for the fundamentals track. Mike Rubin, self-sovereign ID. We've had some nominations for speakers. Please, if you'd like to share something, please put your ideas in. Go into the Kwaai Summit channel in the Slack, and please post there, or just email me, Matt@Kwaai, and we'll get your talk submitted here. We want to try and find as much space in this event for people to have their voices heard.
So don't forget a hands-on lab, please.
What?
Say again, Toby.
Somewhere where we can actually like collaborate on code. Maybe a little technical track.
Okay. So what I think that the very practical. I heard Collin was not going to be in town, and Collin, you live here, so what's up with that? But Eunice is going to come up, and Eunice should be deeply involved in the technical track. So I think we should cover that maybe in the first 2 hours, if necessary. Or we can have it as one of the public sessions. I don't know. I'm not going to prescribe that.
Eunice.
Yes, and Matthew, I think I do have a speaker for the tools track, someone who can showcase what's been done. I've been working with someone from Orange County, and I think he has a great presentation.
Fantastic. And Collin, you and Toby also have a Git repository, and there's work going on. And Eunice, we've set up an AWS environment. Thank you, Darren Warner, for doing that. And that's currently being built to the Kwaai bank account. We've set budgetary limits, but it'd be lovely if Arcus could help underwrite some of that infrastructure cost.
Sure.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, look, let's it'll be wonderful on this call if we can fill up those slots. I've got a paper presentation that I've been nursing in the AI fundamentals section. So I think with Kai taking the keynote slot and me doing a paper presentation, I think we're going to be well covered there. I'd like to see if there are volunteers for the panel. I'll definitely volunteer for the panel. Kai's going to be on the panel. We should have a panel of at least 4, otherwise it's boring. Fantastic. Mike Rubin's raised his hand, and Ronaldo. So when I say AI fundamental, Sean's raised his hand. Okay, so this is not on the tool section. That's what one area, but the AI fundamentals is the deep neural network stuff. So okay, we don't need to do it live, but fill in the Google sheet that is in the summit, the Kwaai Summit channel. or just type in the Kwaai Summit channel and we'll populate the sheet, and put your hands up for what slot you want. So there's keynote, there's technical paper presentation, and there's panel. And the number of panelists is, I guess, really limited by the number of AV mics we have. You know, because everyone will be mic'd up. We're gonna capture this on high quality, you know, video, and it'll be good for repurposing for later on.
Wonderful.
Okay.
For the panels and the talks, do you have thoughts on hybrid, like versus not? Like, do you want to try to do it all in person, or are you going to allow some?
You know, it's difficult. It's difficult to have inbound participation, remote. That is tough to do. Outbound, you know, we are going to be streaming it live, and fortunately, the Kwaai page on LinkedIn has now exceeded the threshold for streaming directly to LinkedIn. So now we can do that. So we'll stream directly to LinkedIn. So I can see a remote audience. Difficult to have remote participation. It just, I don't know, the time to get it set up is going to be difficult. Come on, Sean, hop on a plane. You went to India for 6 weeks.
No, I actually would really love to come. I just realized we have somebody that's coming to visit us that weekend. Anyways, we'll see what I can do. But I think
bring them with you. Bring them with you. The more the merrier. So you know, it's a 2-hour Alaska flight to Burbank Airport and 25-minute Uber ride north. Yeah, it's not difficult. Okay, there. I've guilted you now. Okay, let's. Matt, back to you.
Great. So any other questions, comments, thoughts? Ronaldo, did you want to share anything?
Hello. Yeah, I'm going to be developing a session on how to create a domain of one architecture, domain-specific architecture.
Okay. Yeah, and then you're developing a paper on that. Great. Good question from Ruth. Can participants like Sean, who doesn't want to travel, can they pre-record a presentation? I think the answer is yes, and we would probably edit that in. We won't present it live. We'd edit that in, splice it in to a retransmission of the of that. So yeah, I think we can take submissions that, you know, get added to like the conference proceedings and so on. But for live, you know, talking head on a big screen, it's going to be a difficult experience.
I know in our conversations this week you were talking about you know, filling in the gaps as panels are moving around. Yeah. So you might have 5 or 10 minute gaps that
that's right,
you can stick something up there.
Yeah, very good. So okay, so that could be possible. There are switchover gaps. So maybe we have small 5-minute slots. Okay, so we're spitballing this live, and I'm not wedded to any particular ideas, but that does sound like a good idea, Ruth. Having small 5-minute. And here's a message from GUI.ai, and maybe Sean a 5-minute talk, 5-minute recorded talk. It also allows you to you know, make it a bit more polished and you know, cut out the ums and ahs and get a crisper presentation together. Okay, and that also allows our international participants to also participate. Okay, Matt, that makes your life a lot harder now. Okay.
Abdul Rahman, you had your hand up?
I think people's hands are still up from the volunteering. Okay, Abdul Rahman.
Okay. Good evening from here. So I'm thinking of making a presentation on a paper which is on synthetic data, why it is needed for data protection.
Okay,
Wonderful.
fantastic.
Abdul Rahman, I'll follow up with you after the call, and let's get this. Let me get more information from you.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Mike?
Yeah, the only thing on the agenda that I would love to see, maybe it's a follow-up, but maybe part of this, is a working session. But like maybe what happens is during the presentations, we highlight 2 or 3 topics that are of huge intrigue to the group, and have since we're all going to be there in person, have a whiteboarding hour or so set aside to just kind of drill in collaboratively.
Sure.
I think the format isn't going to allow for much of that during the presentations. Just a thought.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, and it might be maybe, I don't know, in one of the tracks, maybe like the policy track, maybe that becomes a working session, or we can adjust the times. Maybe there is a working session inside the tools track, and we just bump along the rest of the time. There is quite a bit of slack in the schedule, so we can do that. If I don't like doing parallel tracks, I always find like people have the angst and feeling that they're missing out, and this is a small enough conference for it not to be parallel. Okay, working session. So that's 2 voices that have said we need a working session. Okay, Sean's hands up.
Yeah, the other thing I thought would be great is if there's an opportunity for people that have code to do some demos. I just think showing off, I'm sure there's a bunch of builders here. Showing off some of those things would be great. I think if they're short, it's good, under 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but still that it creates the right kind of inbound or follow-up connections that people can have if they like that demo.
Fantastic. Okay, and that could be the 5-minute filler videos as we changing over. Or, when I wrote in paper presentation, I think I was thinking paper/demo. So the thought was that the presentation was actually presentation of work that has been done, research that's been done, and there's some work product that you're talking about. Great.
Awesome. Serge, did you want to weigh in here?
Sorry about that. Sorry for the late in the call. I will have to review the recording. Sorry, job sort of thing, end of the month. Just here, if you can do working sections, which is absolutely the biggest value, have a look at things like unconference sessions and birds of a feather. It's something I did at O'Reilly conferences. They work really bloody well. And, if there's only 2 people who really want to talk about, the variegations in fake data and their biases, those 2 people will get together. If suddenly 8 people want to really work on a hacking session or like say me, I want to work on a document that says, what is the user experience of the, bot or whatever, or what are the user experience affordances? I can get the people I want together with that, right? So in the real world, you'd have tables and little signs, or, a big board that says people are going to do sessions, and, people then go to them like at food camp and stuff. But what you do online is you just basically do breakouts, or use something like one of those overpriced online sessions, or just hack something together with some WebRTC and something, Reza, I'm sure people can do that in like minutes, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think that might be good, but the key thing is to make sure that the person who's running the session is committed to recording what's done, or making some notes and making those available afterwards. That makes it useful. Otherwise, it's a nice way to have coffee.
Okay, I like that. I like that idea.
Thank you, Serge.
No worries.
Wonderful. Great thoughts on this. I think we can move along here. There was one other general comment and question. Reza, you spoke to this a little bit prior with regards to the AWS account, operational budgets, Kwaai needs tools, What do we need? What are the economic models? Did you want to share a few words about that?
Sure. I mean, we're going to get to a point where we need more funding than just my altruistic intervention. And so we will be doing a fundraising. We'll get into fundraising mode maybe after the summit. The material that we generate from the summit shows value, shows a buzz, shows a community forming, a volunteer community that is committed to a cause. But you know, many corporations also want to participate and want to have a seat at the table. So for-profit corporations, they pay for that seat at the table. What do they get? Well, they typically corporations not at the scale of the Googles and the Microsofts and so on that can afford to build their own large language model. Not so much build their large language model, but can't even afford an AI lab. And we offer that. When we grow to scale, the scale of like a Linux foundation, then it becomes, it gets momentum its own, and corporations will pay to have enterprise membership. And as we talked about early on, membership has its privileges. There'll be levels of membership, and from just getting early access to the code to the point at the top where you're actually commissioning research projects and code development. We should make sure, however, that money doesn't buy undue influence. This is a volunteer organization. The aim is to democratize AI. We open up and warn about the oligopoly forming around AI, but we shouldn't ourselves aspire to be oligarchs, and that is not the way you fix this. You actually fix it with a volunteer organization that runs on a completely different has a completely different motivation, and it has an intrinsic strength because you've got people that are not looking to flip an asset, or you're not looking at people that are in it for the money. But we have high functioning individuals. We have motivated individuals, and they're here because they care. Okay, so rant on, rant off. Funding, yes, we will need funding, but I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna wait before we start the going cap in hand. There is money out there. There's a hell of a lot of money out there. Many of you on the call are from a startup background. You can look at my rap sheet. It's all about startups. I'm not at this. I don't think it's the right thing to put a young community on steroids too soon. Steroids, bad word. It's not the right thing to do. I think we need to find our way, and then in a very measured way seek funding. I've seen the way that excessive early funding completely disrupts and deforms a great company, great startup, a great group of people. It just completely deforms motivation. So let's do this in a measured way. It's not a tech startup. It's not that thing. I've done that. We've all done that. This is a volunteer organization that is mission driven, that is it's cause related. We don't want to deform that. That's super valuable. Mike's, lots of people got their hands up. I don't know who. Matt, why don't you arbitrate?
Awesome. Ronaldo, did you have something to share here?
No, I already shared.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks. I just want to take a moment to agree with Reza. One thing, aside from the money, because I do think too much money too quick is a bad thing. But alignment with organizations that enhance our credibility creates additional momentum, even if there might be down the road commitments to the money, but not necessarily right away. I think coming out of the summit, and I think there's a topic in the advisors meeting to talk about that, having a strategy to coalesce those as soon as possible, I think would really help us gain some momentum and traction, and start to get some, unpaid media attention around what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do. So I think we can there might be a way to separate the idea of too quickly getting money, but not too quickly getting support, and things outside of money.
Right.
And Eunice, sorry about that.
No worries. And just to follow up on what Reza said, and I dealt with this in a previous nonprofit, different setup, but the issues of IP, asset ownership, and governance, corporate money, too much, too little, and influence. I think these are very critical issues we have to think about when designing the bylaws, but also designing the organization. How do we make sure that we are protecting this body, trying to democratize AI? And I learned early on that democracy is one of the most dangerous systems, if not the most dangerous systems. How do we make sure that our voice is not diluted over time, and Kwaai 5, 10, 15 years from now is still working to democratize AI? So these are issues. I have no answers per se. I have some elements of answer I can share offline, but to me, these are very, very important matters to consider.
Well, in the advisory board session that we have before the public talks, I think these are the issues we're going to be talking about. And we will also have that one. We can have external Zoom participation in that, but we're going to have a sufficient number of people that are going to be on site. And I think that they're important fundamentals. We haven't incorporated yet. We're still running under my tax ID for my corporation. We need to incorporate the nonprofit. And I'm also seeing from Collin. Collin, why don't you speak up, and you've got a viewpoint as well. Where's he gone? Okay. Collin says, why not just bootstrap? We can still be making...
Hello?
Yeah, Collin, off you go.
Yeah, my microphone randomly turns off sometimes. But yeah, so I mean, doesn't it make sense to bootstrap then? Because if it's, I guess I'm not a political scientist, so this is going to take me a second. But if we have big investors coming in, it wouldn't really be built by the people for the people, quote unquote. Yeah. So to me, it seems like it can just be a bootstrap situation where it's like, it's on the gray area where we're technically like making money, like a profit, but it's not like for, I don't know this part either. So I don't know what a nonprofit or how that works.
Okay.
It's possible.
Right.
It is possible, Collin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What you're discussing, that model is possible. It's kind of actually how, believe it or not, OpenAI is set up, right? Is that the nonprofit, they have a for-profit entity that's supporting the nonprofit. So yeah, there's a for-profit entity, but all of the profit goes to support the nonprofit and its efforts. So there are precedents of these types of structures out there.
Okay. So that was, my early thinking. I liked that model, and that's why the holding company. Well, okay. This I think is a subject for the private meetings, the working sessions on the 14th, and we can hash that out and maybe come away from that meeting with an agreement for the direction. Kai, can we have your input?
First of all, the comment of Eunice, the risks are really real, and I think it's important to have that in mind. Now, we are talking about, companies to be members, but I think maybe we should target a family office, philanthropic association. They would be much more in tune than corporation, in particular philanthropist association. So just a thought.
Okay, very good. Matt, how are we doing for time on the agenda?
We're not great, but Collin is going to graciously abbreviate his lightning talk today. But he is going to share here just something here real quick, the announcement of our new GitHub infrastructure.
Yes. Okay.
All right, I just need presentation permission.
Can you do that?
No, it says I'm not allowed to share my screen.
Give me one sec, Collin.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Cool.
Should be good, yeah.
So I guess I'll just do this. All right. So tell me how I am on time, because I'm just gonna go for like 10 minutes.
And you know, if we
Need a couple minutes, and we'll have some time for member introductions and comments.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tie this in with just a presentation, like a more general, like non-specifically technical conversation that I was just having with my digital twin. So I just wanted to go over just quickly an overview. So there's 3 points I was going to go to, which is communication, security, and then the black mirror. We'll find out what the black mirror is at the end. But so here's the first point of communication. So as we were doing some work, jams or jellies, shout out to Toby for the naming, we were kind of discussing like communication, like how like AIs would be communicating with each other. So that kind of spurred an entity called the Twin Tech Hub. This was made, I guess it's more specifically the way that this is being made is almost by the AI itself, which is kind of getting into the weird part, but I'll just go on the Twin Tech Hub. So it's basically a way, because we were talking a few sessions ago about knowledge graphs and LLMs, and it was the idea was to combine those two to reinvent the knowledge graph. And so that's the first point. The second point is each edge is an AI or a digital twin and is an emissary for the actual user. So like, for example, I don't talk with ChatGPT very well. I'm very demanding and I just say things really rude, and it doesn't like that sometimes. So you have like basically an emissary that speaks to the actual intelligence on your behalf because it knows how to speak. It's kind of like a translator. Third point is digital twin model uses context stored in one data pod. So a data pod is something we'll get into later, which is a part of solid data pods, if anyone knows that.
Right.
And then the last point, digital twins can speak with each other and request more information and context from other AI or users. So like if I say, hey, my digital twin can give out this information about me, like that's my decision and I can have that decision. So these are like the 4 basic points of communication kind of being used to build the Twin Tech Hub. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll move on to some graphs because I think it'll clear things up.
And the data pod, you own your own data pod?
Yeah. So basically, like right now, I'm building a social media website using data pods, and it's basically you don't like your data is just in its own single place, like location, and each app has to request that information. The apps don't own the information. It's like Facebook doesn't actually own your data, type thing.
Great.
Yeah.
That's important. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's very secure, decentralized and stuff. So this is kind of like an overview diagram of like just the communication. This is a very simple diagram. So up here, that up here on the top left would be like a bot Prometheus, which is communicating through, and this is probably going to be some kind of message queuing system if we're talking like tech. Like RabbitMQ type thing or Kafka.
Kafka, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's just going to be exchanging communication between it because, so like let's say that Prometheus is looking to find out some information. Prometheus can talk with Reza's digital twin and use information that Reza gave Prometheus specifically, or Prometheus can talk to Jack, who is just another AI and has rules about what information it can and cannot give out. about itself.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Collin, and I'm sorry to kind of jump in and kind of interrupt you here, but we are running short on time, and we do want to make some opportunity for some folks to introduce themselves. Do you have some thoughts on how folks can kind of get involved here with you to start hacking on this?
Yeah, so I guess I don't know how we're going to handle GitHub invites, Matt.
I'd say coordinate with Eunice. Or introduce yourself to Eunice. I think I think we need a bit more support from a software development organization that's got, it's got infrastructure, and this is a great start. But I think to get this on, to broaden the participation, we're going to need more structured help. And he's got an army of software developers as well. I don't know to what extent they're going to participate, but let's also, people should reach you on Slack. Of course, that means they need to be invited to Slack, or some other way. But yeah, it'd be great if you had more participation. And then I'd love to see a presentation of this on the 14th. I know you're not going to be in town, Collin. What's up with that?
October. I'm going to be in Africa.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, we can't stop you there, brother.
Yeah, we're not going to stop you. Okay. But maybe
we can do it. Me and Ian, or maybe we can collaborate with some other people. But we can do it. We got it.
Okay.
Right.
Very good.
We got you.
Yeah, I got plenty more stuff being built too, so this is all fun I want to share at some point. So teasers, there you go.
Collin, we need to squeeze a lightning talk in again to give you opportunity to continue that. Okay, but that was a teaser and a taster for what's going on. Matt, back to you.
Yeah, apologies for cutting that short there, Collin, and thank you for the thoughts. And I'm looking forward to looking into that Black Mirror, seeing what's there. Eunice, any other thoughts on technical contribution, just since we're on the topic here?
I will make a brief intro to a couple of my architects who are interested in joining this conversation and helping with the team. And what Collin just shared now is a great segue to get that conversation started.
Fantastic. Okay.
Awesome. Great. So good opportunity now to come to some member voices, thoughts, feedback on today. If you'd like to, and you're new today and you'd like to introduce yourself, we'd really like to hear from you. We have one hand up. Srinivasa, would you like to say something?
So it was great working with Ian, and he introduced me to Prometheus, and then I picked up an item from the backlogs and worked on it. So that's the first item that I've worked at. I mean, very excited about it, actually. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Great. Thank you, Srinivas.
Thank you, Sri. Woo.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody else that would like to step in and introduce themselves? There's a few new faces here. We'd love to hear from you. What brought you to the call today? Kartikeya, great.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Kartikeya. This is my first call with the team, and I'm really excited to be a part of this. I have almost like 5 years of experience in cybersecurity with Deloitte and New York Life Insurance. And I'm currently pursuing masters in cybersecurity at Georgia Tech. And really, my interest in AI is growing with my work with New York Life Insurance, and I'm really excited about the governance aspect of it, and including AI into it, and actually to be able to govern AI as well. So I'm really looking forward to having some productive conversations with.
And Kati, I recognize the surname.
Sorry.
I recognize the surname, your family name.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, he's my relative. I really like the program here, and I told him you have to join this.
Yay! Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Would any other new faces here that'd like to introduce themselves, or any other further comments, feedback, thoughts?
Valeri, come on, say hi, bro.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I'll be short. So Toby invited me here, and yeah, I'm literally interested. A few words about myself. So it's been 20 years since I sold my first application, and since then I'm founded a software engineering company and AI startup that I'm working right now, and I'm constantly facing the concerns of people about the AI stuff, LLMs being ruled by corporations. So they don't control their data, how they are processed, and so on. So I'm interested in your initiative in like from these aspects.
Fantastic. Okay.
Wonderful.
And Valeri has a very large AI team in Eastern Europe as well.
Not so large, but yeah, at least kind of
compared to us.
Sorry?
I said compared to us, it's just me and Collin right now. So
yeah.
Thank you, Valeri, and thank you for continuing to bring the crowds, Toby. Appreciate it. I want to ask one other person to introduce themselves, Selena Lewis, who stepped up to really help with some of the logistics and planning for Kwaai. Really appreciate her assistance here.
Hi, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I met with Matt this week just to go over some planning, offer my assistance. I've been in IT last 20 years, been in project management for about 5, 6, 7 years. So just trying to help organize and strategize how we can, propel into where we want to be. So I'm here to help with whatever we kind of need to at this point.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Selena. We certainly need the help, and I certainly appreciate it. If anybody else would like to say something, we've got about one more window here for an introduction or a comment. I'm about to hand it back over to Reza.
Sure. Okay. Well, this is a fantastic, very productive meeting. Look, we're all excited. We're coming up to a face-to-face summit, and many of you that I've not seen for ages. This weekly call is like a core sample of my own career. Many of the relationships I've developed here go back a decade, more, maybe 20 years, and it's always very heartwarming to find that these connections we've made live long, and I think that's going to be the strength. That's going to be one of the elements of connective tissue that keeps this movement strong. So think about October 14th. Think about your participation. Get that into the. There is a Slack channel, the Kwaai Summit Slack channel. All the details are on there. You should be talking about what you think you want to get out of it, what you want to participate, what you want to put into it, and maybe if there's any structural changes, there's time to do that. Key deadlines. We want to get a call to action out this weekend, maybe today, maybe a LinkedIn post and boost it. Like to boost in the Los Angeles region so we can get participation. But a poster we're going to release to the college as well, so they can distribute it through their channels. And hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you all and having this will be a key milestone for the Kwaai movement. Okay, Matt.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for participating. This call will be posted on the YouTube channel as well as through LinkedIn. Please, if you have suggestions and articles and thoughts to share, Meet us in the Kwaai Slack. We'd love to see you there. Doesn't matter what channel you post in, just get in there, start posting, sharing, thinking. And if you do have a project or something that you're working on, you'd like the Kwaai network to hear about it, please share about it there. And we're happy to post you, post and share about your projects on LinkedIn as well. So just some thoughts to leave you with this week. Come join the conversation asynchronously, and looking forward to seeing folks next week.
Fantastic. Okay. Boom, 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 boom.
Hey, and don't forget, you guys, we're going to be coding today. So if anybody wants to join us, we'll be around.
Right. I guess other items of logistics for the after party, maybe dietary instructions.
Yes, here's the.
We'll get a Google form set up to try to pull some details from some folks.
Yeah, and so I think the instructions are somewhere, but if you want to stay at the Hyatt, you mentioned College of the Canyons, and you get their discounted rate. It's really, really cheap for a nice hotel. And flights to Burbank are really inexpensive.
Well, it'll probably be me and the whole morning clan. So I don't know if Mike's coming, but if we want to posse up, Mike.
Toby, I was suggesting you all perform like a rap opera or something.
Well, maybe we get somebody in the crew to do a little MP3 DJ mix session.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Ruth did point out,
raising his hand. Look, DJ Sean in the house.
Ruth did point out that the karaoke machine is rather
exactly.
One shot for each line of code developed. Oh shit, I'm drunk already, bro. And I'm a lighty. Oh man. Yeah, so anybody want to join, you guys?
I write very verbose code, actually. So that could be quite dangerous.
Yes, especially I mean, we already got a decent amount of code, like I said.
So the people that do boost programming, where one line is like an entire paragraph of code. Yeah, it's a write once code. Write once, read never. Because once you've written that line of code, you can never read it, even yourself. You won't be able to. Now, what was I thinking? Yeah. Maybe that's the way to stay sober.
So, Mike, did you do your presentation yet to the family offices?
That's in November.
November. All right, man. Let us know if we could do anything, bro.
Yeah. I posted in the advisor channel. I posted kind of the working abstract.
Your presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Kai, separately, the paper I'm working on is in the fundamentals section, and it's on how the mathematics of fluid dynamics, the Navier-Stokes equations, etc., that forms a framework, or that's the fabric of a causal network. Okay, and what we were discussing in Vegas, you guilted me to go and revisit that, and there's a fantastic tie-in between fundamental physics and AI. And I think this is, thank you so much for nudging me in that direction. And I think I'm gonna give a little bit of a paper that hints in the direction of where I'm going.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Pleasure, Reza.
Thanks. What? Yeah, they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but that actually came home and was the subject of dreams, fever dreams actually. Okay, well look, no one wants to say goodbye. No one wants to hang up.
Bye guys.
Okay, good.
See you soon.
Bye guys.
Good weekend.
Later.
Bye.
Happy weekend.
Have a good
everybody.
weekend, everyone.